Hi friends. Tonight, we set sail into the vast uncertainty of the medieval ocean. Beneath your feet, the ship creaks, its timbers worn thin from endless voyages. The night presses close on every side. There's no glowing GPS, no weather forecast scrolling across a screen, only stars scattered across a velvet sky. And the quiet, unsettling truth: if you drift off course, you may never return. Before we go further, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy what I do here. And if you feel so inclined, share your location and the local time in the comments. I love to see where, and when, in the world you are listening. Now, dim the lights. Let the wooden deck sway beneath your bare feet. Step forward into the salty night air as the ship groans like a living thing. Lanterns swing from ropes, their flames trembling in the wind, stretching sailors' faces into masks of exhaustion. Some men pull at the rigging, calloused palms bleeding against the rope. Others slump against barrels, too tired to speak. The air reeks of tar, fish oil, and sweat, all mixing with the ocean's heavy perfume, a brine-scented mixture of decay and mystery. It's not pleasant, but inevitable. One fact is certain: medieval sailors set out into waters they hardly understood. They clung to coastlines whenever possible, terrified of the unknown seas beyond. But you are far from shore now, standing on a deck where only timber separates you from the deep. The moon paints silver across the waves. But its glow offers no comfort, only constant, endless motion that pulls your body into rhythm. Every rope groans, every mast tilts, the ship alive with creaks and sighs. You imagine your hammock waiting below, but for now, your task is simple: to stand steady, and endure. Superstitions whisper through your mind. Some sailors swore that garlic warded off evil spirits. Others carried pouches filled with bones or shells to appease the sea. You notice an older sailor fingering a charm around his neck, lips moving in a private prayer. He won't say what's inside the pouch, but it's certainly no rosary. Above, the stars blaze sharp and cold. You lean back to trace constellations, but the sky feels larger than memory can hold. Historians still debate whether medieval sailors truly navigated by the stars, or only pretended, steering more by instinct and luck. Either way, tonight, the heavens look like puzzles, not maps. A splash below interrupts your thoughts. Fish? Driftwood? Or something else? The ocean keeps her secrets well. A younger sailor leans close and whispers of sea serpents long enough to coil around the ship. You half smile at the nonsense, but still glance back at the black waves, just in case. Near the helm, the helmsman grips the steering oar, knuckles pale in lantern light. Each swell makes the rudder scream. He leans into it like a man wrestling an invisible giant. His jaw is clenched, his breath steady. He has done this before. Whether practice makes it easier, you're not so sure. Behind him, the ship's wake glows faint in the moonlight. It looks like a path, vanishing as quickly as it forms. The bells toll, marking the passage of time. Each chime is a heartbeat of order in a world where the sea laughs at rules. You think of home. Of laughter, food, and warmth. It aches like hunger. Many sailors carried scraps of cloth or carved trinkets to remind them of land. You wish you had one too. At dawn, the ship wakes with groans and curses. Your stomach growls as a barrel is cracked open. Breakfast. Hardtack, the infamous ship's biscuit. Square, dense, nearly unbreakable. It feels more like stone than bread. Your first bite turns to dust, scraping your throat raw. Hunger forces you onward, until you spot movement. A weevil crawls inside the biscuit. The sailor beside you shrugs, shakes out a handful of insects, and eats. Adds protein, he mutters. You try to laugh, but your appetite fades. Some sailors dunk the biscuits in ale or seawater to soften them. Others claim that ruins the taste. Opinions clash, but hunger wins. You chew, swallow, and endure. Around you, men joke grimly about biscuits crawling with worms, or puddings made of hardtack ground with fat and peas. No one really laughs. Meals divide rank. Officers get the fresher biscuits, sometimes flavored with fruit. The rest eat dust and insects. Gratitude and despair blur together. Without these rations, you'd starve. With them, you merely survive. Thirst follows quickly. You dip a ladle into a barrel of water, and nearly gag. Stale, slimy, faintly sweet. Within days of leaving shore, water sours. Sailors pour vinegar into the barrels, or even drop live eels inside, hoping they'll keep the liquid fresh. Whether it works or not, no one knows. But you drink. Everyone does. Out here, disgust yields to necessity. Ale and wine replace water. Thin, sour, barely drinkable, but safer. And more than survival, alcohol is glue. It dulls misery, loosens tongues, and keeps tempers balanced, most of the time. But sometimes, too much ale means fights, slurred boasts, and dangerous tempers in a space too small for pride. The cook appears with salted meat. Pork or beef, packed in barrels months ago, now gray and rubbery. It tastes of salt more than flesh, so strong your tongue recoils. Some sailors toss onions or peas into the pot for flavor. Others smear fat on biscuits and call it a sandwich. Desperation breeds invention, but nothing erases the salt. Inequality sharpens again. Officers get better cuts, sometimes dusted with spice. The rest chew tough fibers until their jaws ache. This meat keeps you alive, but sickens you slowly. Scurvy and fever spread easily when men's gums bleed from every bite. Still, you eat. Still, you endure. Knives scrape bowls, mugs thud against wood, men sigh with grim satisfaction. A weary communion, binding you together in hunger and endurance. Someone belches, someone curses softly, but no one complains. Complaints don't matter to the sea. By the time the pot is empty, your lips are cracked with salt, your fingers greasy, and your hunger already returning. The ocean is vast, indifferent, and merciless. And this, the dust of biscuits, the sourness of water, the salt of meat, this is how medieval sailors lived. Day after day. Survival, stretched thin. The sea doesn't care how it feeds you. Only that it tests you. The meal ends, but work never does. The ship lives on rhythm, pulling, hauling, patching, waiting. You wipe your greasy fingers on your tunic, and already the bosun's whistle shrieks through the air. Men leap to the rigging, arms straining, legs trembling as they climb. The sails groan overhead, cracking like thunder as the wind stiffens. You feel the shift before you see it. The air grows heavier. The horizon darkens. Clouds boil upward like smoke from a giant's fire. A storm is coming. Every sailor senses it, no one needs to say the word. Tools are snatched, ropes checked, barrels tied down. A barrel of water bursts free, rolling across the deck with a dull thunder before 3 men wrestle it still. The sea rises. First gentle swells, then a deep heave that lifts your stomach into your throat. The ship lurches, timbers screaming. Salt spray lashes your face, stinging your eyes. Lanterns swing wildly, their flames snapping out one by one. Shouts turn to roars as men fight the ropes, voices snatched away by the wind. A mast cracks, just a groan, this time. But every man hears it. Splintered wood is death at sea. You clutch the railing, knuckles white, as the deck tilts like a living beast trying to throw you off. The helmsman bellows, leaning into the steering oar, jaw clenched like iron. This is no place for prayers, yet you hear them anyway. Men whisper Ave Marias, mutter charms, some even spit into the sea to calm her hunger. The storm does not care. Rain lashes. The world becomes chaos, water above, water below. The sails thrash like beasts. Ropes whip through the air, snapping with the force of whips. You duck as one slices past your head, the sound sharp as steel. A man goes down beside you, leg twisted under him. He cries out, but no one can stop. Survival swallows pity. And then, just as suddenly as it rose, the storm begins to fall. Clouds rip apart, leaving a sky torn and raw. The waves still buck and roll, but the fury ebbs. Men collapse against the rails, chests heaving, eyes hollow. The ship drips like a beaten animal. A spar lies broken across the deck, ropes snarled like veins. You breathe in relief, but it tastes of fear. Storms are reminders. Out here, you live only by chance. Later, when the sea has settled to a weary rhythm, the true cost of the voyage creeps in, sickness. It begins quietly. A cough here, a man too weak to climb the rigging. A mouth too sore to chew the salted pork. Then it spreads. Gums swell, bleed. Teeth loosen. Legs cramp with pain so fierce men collapse mid-step. Scurvy. The silent killer of the sea. No one understands it yet, though whispers swirl. Some say it's punishment for sin. Others mutter that it's the ship's food, that salted meat rots the body. One sailor swears that onions or lemons cure it, though such luxuries rot long before a voyage ends. You watch a man pick at his gums, blood running down his chin. He tries to smile, to joke, but the sickness has already stolen the flesh from his face. Soon, he'll be laid out on deck, too weak to move. No priest. No grave. Just the sea, waiting. The smell grows heavy. Sick men sweat and vomit below deck, where air barely stirs. Vermin scatter through the hammocks, fleas biting, lice crawling. The surgeon, a grim man with a box of knives, can do little. He bleeds some, lances others, muttering prayers as if prayers could stitch wounds. His tools are never clean, and every cut risks death. Still, men submit. They have no choice. Death is no stranger here. A body wrapped in sailcloth lies ready by the rail. At dawn, the bell tolls, and men gather silently. No long rites. Just a prayer, a weighted shroud, and the dull splash of a life disappearing beneath the waves. The sea claims its due. Always. Yet life goes on. The bells still mark the watches. The sails still rise and fall. Songs stir again, rough shanties shouted into the wind, voices cracked but defiant. It is in these moments, brief and fragile, that men find the strength to endure. You lean against the rail, salt stinging your lips. The stars glow once more, endless and sharp. The storm, the hunger, the sickness, they fade into the background, leaving only the rhythm of the sea. A reminder that survival is not about comfort, not even about hope. It is about stubbornness. The will to endure one more day, one more meal, one more wave. The days stretch onward, blending into one another. The ship rises and falls, until the rhythm becomes part of your body. At first, you resisted, your stomach lurching, your head pounding. But slowly, you adapt. Slowly, you learn that the sea does not change for you. You must change for the sea. Work is constant. Every man has his duty, and there is no room for idleness. Some climb the rigging, hands raw against rope. Others haul cargo, scrape decks, or patch torn sails. The tasks never end, because wood rots, canvas tears, and ropes fray. The ocean eats everything, piece by piece. The watch is endless. Eyes straining across nothing but horizon. Clouds shifting, winds turning, waves whispering of storms before they strike. Bells toll to mark the hours, but out here time loses meaning. Morning, noon, dusk, it's all sky and water, water and sky. Then, one night, the storm comes. It begins as a whisper. The wind sharpens, the sails crack like whips, and the sea lifts itself higher, as if waking angry. Within moments, the world tilts. The deck bucks beneath your boots, barrels break loose, ropes snap. Lanterns shatter against the planks, their flames smothered by spray. Men shout, voices snatched away by the roar of wind. Rain lashes like knives across your face. The mast groans like a dying beast, rigging straining until it seems the whole ship might tear apart. You cling to the railing, knuckles bloodless, as black water surges over the deck. For a moment, you feel the ship vanish beneath you, swallowed whole, then, with a violent lurch, it rises again. Sailors scream prayers, curses, confessions. One is thrown overboard, a shadow swallowed in the dark. No rope can save him. His voice fades almost instantly. The sea takes quickly, without pause. Hours blur into chaos. You cannot see sky, only water and lightning. Each flash blinds you, burning your eyes with glimpses of white-capped mountains rising and falling, rising and falling. The ship is a. The storm passes as swiftly as it came. The clouds peel away. The moon returns. The deck lies in ruin, ropes tangled, sails torn, barrels smashed. One man limps with a broken arm. Another lies still, head crushed by falling timber. The sea has taken her toll. You realize why sailors fear her more than any monster. Serpents are rumor. Storms are truth. In the uneasy calm that follows, discipline grows sharper. Rules are iron at sea. Disobedience means disaster, and captains rule like kings. Punishments are swift, often brutal. You witness it soon enough. A sailor caught stealing ale. His hands tremble as the crew drags him forward. No one speaks. The captain's face is stone. The sentence is flogging. Ropes are tied. The whip cracks once, twice, 10 times. Flesh tears. Blood spatters across the planks. Men turn their heads, but all listen. The lesson is for everyone: without order, there is no survival. The punished man is thrown back to his hammock, groaning. He'll live. But the scars will travel with him longer than the voyage. And then, disease creeps aboard. Not like the storm, loud and sudden, but quiet, invisible. It starts with swollen gums, teeth loosening in their sockets. Bruises spread across skin with no cause. Sailors grow weak, too tired to climb rigging or haul rope. Scurvy. The curse of the sea. No one knows the cure. They whisper of demons, of bad air, of curses sent by the waves. But the truth is crueler. A simple absence of fresh food, greens, fruit, things impossible to carry on long voyages. Men rot from within, and the ocean does not care. You see it in their faces. Lips cracked, skin pale, eyes hollow. Some mutter deliriously, clutching amulets or crosses. Others simply lie down and wait. Hammocks become graves. The dead are sewn into canvas, weighted with stones, and slid overboard. One splash. Then silence. Life goes on. The ship moves forward. The living eat, drink, sing, repair sails, argue, laugh, even while death hangs close. That is the truth of the medieval ocean: survival is not guaranteed, only borrowed. And yet, despite hunger, storms, punishments, and disease, men kept sailing. For trade. For war. For faith. For hope of new lands. Perhaps for nothing more than the stubbornness to challenge the sea, again and again. You lean on the railing, watching dawn rise over endless waves. The ship creaks beneath you, scarred but still alive. Men stir from their hammocks, coughing, groaning, beginning the day as though yesterday's storm had never been. The corridor twists again, leading into a narrow spiral staircase that winds upward into the heart of the tower. Each step is uneven, carved by hand centuries ago, and the stones tilt just slightly underfoot. The higher you climb, the closer the air presses in, stale and dust-choked, as though it hasn't shifted in generations. The slit windows along the stairwell are little more than scars cut into the stone. Through them, you catch flashes of the outside world, snow whipping across the night sky, the pale light of the moon trying desperately to pierce the storm. The glassless openings allow the cold to bite into your skin with every turn, making you wonder how anyone could have endured such relentless winters here. At last, the staircase releases you into a circular chamber. This is no banquet hall nor royal apartment, but a room of pure purpose. The ceiling rises to a vaulted point, blackened by centuries of soot. Along the walls hang rusted weapons, halberds, swords, a shattered shield, relics of battles fought long before your time. In the center stands a massive wooden table, gouged with scars of blades and stained with dark patches that may once have been blood. The silence here is uncanny. No wind whistles. No torch flickers. Only the slow creak of timber beneath your boots, as though the castle itself is straining to hold its secrets. You kneel beside the trapdoor, running your fingers across the iron ring. It's colder than the stone around it, as if it's been waiting, untouched, for centuries. When you tug, the wood groans but resists, swollen tight from years of damp air. A second pull, harder this time, and it finally wrenches open with a crack that echoes like a scream down the hollow tower walls. A breath of air rushes up from below. Not fresh air, but something heavy, stale, carrying the unmistakable scent of earth, mildew, and iron. The kind of smell that clings to forgotten places, where light hasn't touched in generations. The opening reveals a steep set of wooden steps, eaten away by time. Some are splintered, others warped and sagging. You hesitate at the edge, peering down, but the darkness swallows everything after the first few feet. It's a descent into nothingness, a place carved away from the world above. Slowly, you begin the descent. Each step moans beneath your weight, threatening to give way. The air thickens as you sink deeper, pressing in like a damp shroud. The sounds of the castle above, faint wind, settling stone, fade into silence. All that remains is the sound of your own breath and the hollow thud of your boots on the rotting stairs. At last, your feet touch solid ground. The chamber is small, almost suffocating. The walls curve inward, carved directly into the earth, their surfaces slick with moisture. Cobwebs lace the corners like fine threads of silver, glistening faintly in the dim light from the stairwell above. And then you see it. Against the far wall sits a low stone slab, little more than a rough altar. Upon it lies a bundle of decayed cloth, its shape unmistakably human. Bones jut through the fabric, long and yellowed, the skull tilted sideways as though staring straight at you. Beside the figure rests a rusted chain, snapped in two, and gouges in the stone floor where shackled feet must have dragged and struggled. A prisoner once kept here. Forgotten. Left to fade in the dark. The silence grows unbearable. It presses against your ears, demanding you listen closer. And that's when you hear it, soft, faint, but there. The scrape of something shifting deeper in the shadows, beyond the reach of your eyes. The scrape echoes again, this time more deliberate. It doesn't sound like the scuttle of a rat or the creak of settling wood. It is slow. Measured. Almost as if something, or someone, were moving carefully so as not to be heard. You step closer to the slab, your breath clouding in the chill air. The skull, with its hollow sockets, seems to tilt more toward you under the shifting shadows, though you know it must be your imagination. Still, the sensation crawls up your spine, that you are not alone down here. Your eyes follow the sound, straining into the farthest corner of the chamber. The darkness there is heavier, as if it's not simply an absence of light but something with weight, with substance. For a moment, you swear it quivers, a blackness that breathes. Then, another sound. A faint clink of metal. You look down and realize the broken chain beside the skeleton is not as still as it was. It has shifted, ever so slightly, as though nudged by a hand unseen. Your heartbeat stutters. The air grows thicker, harder to draw in. The silence collapses into a low, almost inaudible whisper, as though the walls themselves are murmuring. Words that scrape against your ear, too faint to understand but unmistakably human. The whispers swell, overlapping, until they fill the chamber like a swarm of voices. Some are pleading. Some are weeping. Some are angry, furious, and their echo rattles in your chest. The bones on the slab tremble, the jaw slackening as if to speak, though no sound comes from its gaping mouth. Then the cold strikes. Not the natural cold of stone, but something sharper, sudden. It slices through your skin, settling in your bones. Your breath turns ragged, visible in frantic white plumes. The shadows deepen, pulling inward, until the entire chamber feels smaller, the walls creeping closer. And just when you think you can bear it no longer, something moves. A shape unfolds from the corner. Tall, gaunt, its outline flickering like smoke caught in a draft. Hollow eyes glow faintly, like embers buried deep in ash. It does not step forward so much as it drifts, its presence pulling the whispers into a single, unified moan. The figure drifts closer, its form never quite solid, as if it exists halfway between air and memory. Each movement stirs the chamber, rattling the broken chain on the slab, making the cobwebs shiver like white breath in the dark. You want to step back, but the stone wall presses against your spine. The spirit halts a few feet away, hovering just above the ground, its hollow gaze fixed on you. For a heartbeat, silence reigns, so thick it feels as though the entire world above has stopped. Then, its mouth opens. No lips, no flesh, only the jagged suggestion of a jaw, unhinging wider than nature should allow. From the gaping void spills a sound that is neither voice nor wind. It is a groan, 1,000 groans stitched together, the anguish of centuries pouring out at once. The chamber vibrates with it. Dust rains from the ceiling. Stones tremble in their ancient mortar. The whispers return, but now they are clear, phrases clawing their way through the noise. Left here, forgotten, betrayed. Your lantern, or is it just the faint light from the stairwell, flickers violently, threatening to die. In that strobing glow, the figure changes. One moment, it is smoke and shadow. The next, it wears the shape of a man, shackled, gaunt with hunger, his eyes wide with terror. Then gone again, returning to the hollow wraith. The wraith hovers before you, its fingers curling and uncurling in a motion that feels less like an attack and more like an invitation. Its hollow chest glows faintly with that sigil, pulsing in rhythm with a heartbeat that is not yours. Then the voices gather again, no longer scattered murmurs, but one voice, deep and broken, forcing itself through the ruin of time. I was loyal. I was faithful, and they chained me here like a dog. The words rattle through the chamber, shaking the dust loose from the ceiling. The bones on the slab shudder, shifting as if pulled by invisible hands. You watch in frozen horror as the skull turns, jaw creaking open, and a whisper escapes from it, perfectly synchronized with the phantom's groan. They swore an oath, then buried me beneath it. The walls feel closer now. The chamber shrinking. Your breath comes faster, fogging in the freezing air as the story forces itself into you like smoke through your lungs. Images flicker in your mind, whether visions sent by the spirit or tricks of your own fear, you cannot tell. A banquet hall, torches blazing, laughter spilling into the rafters. A knight kneeling before a throne, head bowed, receiving his lord's trust. Then, a dungeon. Shackles. Darkness. Betrayal in the eyes of men he once called brothers. A stone slab. Chains biting skin. A scream that no one answered. Your knees buckle under the weight of the visions. The chamber tilts, swimming with shadows. The phantom leans closer, so near now you can see the faint shimmer of tears carved into its hollowed cheeks. I begged them. I begged until my throat was blood. But the walls drank my voice, and the stones kept their silence. The broken chain at your feet rattles violently, clinking against the slab. The air feels charged, buzzing, as if the spirit is demanding something of you, vengeance, release, acknowledgement. The sigil in its chest pulses brighter, casting the chamber in a sickly light. You realize it's not just a mark, it's a seal, the very bond that has trapped the spirit here all these centuries. And as the phantom's fingers stretch toward you again, brushing the air just before your skin, you feel the question that has kept it tethered, carved into the silence. The spirit's hand hovers inches from your chest. You can feel its cold knot on your skin, but inside your ribs, as though the chill is creeping straight into your heart. The sigil in its chest flares brighter, throwing warped shadows across the stone walls. The voices rise again, louder now, urgent, desperate. Free me, or bleed as I bled. The bones on the slab jolt violently, ribs snapping upward, jaw snapping shut with a crack. The broken chain lashes across the floor as if alive, slithering toward your feet. Every instinct in you screams to run, but there is nowhere to go, the trapdoor above is sealed, the chamber closing in. Your hand moves almost of its own accord toward the glowing sigil. The closer you reach, the louder the voices grow, pressing against your skull like a tide. Flashes of memory, betrayal, hunger, darkness, flood into you, each one burning like fire behind your eyes. For a moment, your fingers brush the phantom's chest. The glow sears your skin, not with heat but with something deeper, something that vibrates in your bones. The spirit shudders, its outline flickering, and the voices turn into a scream so piercing it rattles the chamber to its foundation. The walls groan. Cracks spread through the stone like veins of black lightning. Dust showers down as though the whole castle above might collapse. The chain whips tighter around your ankle, biting into your flesh, as if the spirit is anchoring you here, forcing you to finish what you've begun. Not yet, not enough, give me more. The voice howls, splitting between sorrow and fury. The sigil flares again, brighter than torchlight, illuminating the chamber in an eerie glow. And in that light, you see more than stone and shadow, you see faces. Dozens of them. Twisted, pale, half-formed, rising out of the walls. The voices were never just one spirit. This chamber is crowded with them, the forgotten, the abandoned, the betrayed. All bound together in this pit beneath the castle. Their hollow eyes fix on you. Their mouths open in unison. One of us, one of us, one of us. The spirit surges forward, its hand plunging straight into your chest, not tearing flesh, but sinking into your very being. Cold fire erupts in your veins. The sigil burns between you and the phantom, binding tighter, fusing. The phantom's hand sinks deeper, past bone and breath, until it feels like your very heartbeat is caught in its grip. The sigil between you sears like molten iron, blinding white for a moment, then plunging into a deep, blood-red glow that pulses with every beat of your heart. The chorus of voices swells. Some shriek with hunger, some beg for release, others laugh with a madness carved by centuries in the dark. The walls seem to bend with them, the faces in the stone pushing outward as though straining to step into the chamber. The chain at your ankle tightens, dragging you down toward the slab. You stumble, knees cracking against cold stone. The skeleton beside you shifts again, its skull rolling until it rests against your leg. For one terrible moment, you feel its jaw clench around the fabric of your clothes as if trying to bite. The phantom leans closer, its hollow eyes burning brighter. Its voice is inside your head now, not spoken, but breathed directly into your thoughts. You carry warmth, you carry life, share it with us, be the vessel. And then, through the storm of whispers, another sound cuts in, faint, muffled, but real. A pounding. Rhythmic. Heavy. The trapdoor above. Someone is there. The phantom stiffens, its glow flickering. The voices shriek, angry, desperate. The chain lashes tighter, but in its distraction, you manage to wrench one leg free, scraping skin raw against the rusted links. The pounding grows louder, then wood splinters. A sliver of pale light cuts through the chamber. Dust cascades from the ceiling. The voices howl in fury. The phantom throws back its head, a scream tearing from its hollow chest, so piercing it feels like the stone itself will shatter. Its hand wrenches harder at your heart, pulling you toward it, but that shaft of light spreads wider, spilling across the slab, touching the bones. And for the first time, the skeleton does not move. It goes still, utterly still, as if the light has frozen it in place. The phantom falters. Its grip loosens, slightly, but enough. The light widens as the trapdoor above tears apart, splinters raining down like sharp rain. A cold draft spills into the chamber, but compared to the phantom's grip it feels almost warm, alive. The pounding from above becomes a frantic tearing, voices calling down, distant but human. The spirit shrieks again, its mouth unhinging into an impossible void. The sound rattles the marrow of your bones, but you use its moment of faltering to wrench yourself forward. The chain scrapes across stone, snapping tight around your ankle once more, but you drag yourself an inch, then another, your fingers clawing against the wet floor. Light spills fully into the chamber now, piercing the dark like a blade. It slices across the phantom's chest, and where it touches the glowing sigil, the spirit convulses violently. Its form ripples, smoke tearing away in long, shrieking ribbons. The sigil flares again, brighter than torchlight, illuminating the chamber in an eerie glow. And in that light, you see more than stone and shadow, you see faces. Dozens of them. Twisted, pale, half-formed, rising out of the walls. The voices were never just one spirit. This chamber is crowded with them, the forgotten, the abandoned, the betrayed. All bound together in this pit beneath the castle. Their hollow eyes fix on you. Their mouths open in unison. One of us, one of us, one of us. The spirit surges forward, its hand plunging straight into your chest, not tearing flesh, but sinking into your very being. Cold fire erupts in your veins. The sigil burns between you and the phantom, binding tighter, fusing. The phantom's hand sinks deeper, past bone and breath, until it feels like your very heartbeat is caught in its grip. The sigil between you sears like molten iron, blinding white for a moment, then plunging into a deep, blood-red glow that pulses with every beat of your heart. The chorus of voices swells. Some shriek with hunger, some beg for release, others laugh with a madness carved by centuries in the dark. The walls seem to bend with them, the faces in the stone pushing outward as though straining to step into the chamber. The chain at your ankle tightens, dragging you down toward the slab. You stumble, knees cracking against cold stone. The skeleton beside you shifts again, its skull rolling until it rests against your leg. For one terrible moment, you feel its jaw clench around the fabric of your clothes as if trying to bite. The phantom leans closer, its hollow eyes burning brighter. Its voice is inside your head now, not spoken, but breathed directly into your thoughts. You carry warmth, you carry life, share it with us, be the vessel. The human voices above grow louder, hold on. We see you. Though their words are muffled by stone and fear. A rope dangles through the broken hatch, swinging just beyond reach. You lunge for it, but the chain yanks you backward, slamming your chest against the slab. The phantom's hand plunges deeper, and your vision blurs, spots of red and black crawling across your eyes. The voices in the walls scream in unison, hungry, furious, as though the entire chamber itself wants to drag you into its depths. But the rope swings again, brushing your fingertips. You claw at it, nails splitting, until at last your fist closes tight. The moment you grip it, the human pull from above surges against the phantom's drag from below. For one terrifying instant, you are split in two. Your body stretches between worlds, one half dragged toward the light, the other sinking into the phantom's endless hunger. Your scream joins theirs, a sound that feels like it will tear you in half. Then the sigil shatters. A crack of light bursts through the phantom's chest, splitting it open. Its scream dies into a hollow gasp as its form disintegrates, torn apart in a whirlwind of smoke and sparks. The chain around your ankle crumbles to rust, flaking away into dust that scatters across the chamber floor. Hands seize the rope from above, hauling you upward as the chamber erupts in collapse. Stones tear from the walls, faces screaming as they dissolve back into shadow. The skeleton on the slab turns to powder with a sigh, as though finally, after centuries, it is free. You're dragged through the trapdoor, gasping, blinking against the sudden brightness of torchlight. A group of figures, travelers, perhaps, or castle keepers, surround you, their faces pale with shock. Below, the chamber howls one last time as the trapdoor slams shut under its own weight, sealing the darkness away. The hands that pulled you out still cling tightly, as though afraid you might slip back into the trapdoor and vanish. Your chest heaves, the air thick with dust, your throat raw from the phantom's icy grip. Every blink feels slow, heavy. The torches above flicker, their flames bending strangely, as if uneasy about what they just witnessed. The travelers around you speak, but their voices blur, distant as if carried across water. You catch fragments, alive, shouldn't be possible, that room was sealed. One woman presses a flask to your lips. The liquid inside burns, sharp and bitter, but it forces life back into your lungs. The trapdoor below groans once, shifting slightly, though no one touches it. A deep, hollow boom answers from somewhere beneath the stone, like the dying echo of a bell. Everyone freezes, eyes darting toward the floor, waiting for another tremor. None comes. Not yet. The leader of the group, an older man with scars carved into his cheeks, kneels beside you. His gaze is sharp, not cruel but searching. You shouldn't have survived down there, he mutters, almost more to himself than to you. No one does. You want to ask what that thing was, what it wanted, why the voices in the walls called for you, but your tongue feels heavy, your body too spent. The only sound that escapes you is a hoarse whisper. It spoke. That draws a ripple of unease through the group. The older man narrows his eyes, then barks an order. Bring him. Now. Before the castle wakes again. They hoist you to your feet. Your legs shake, unsteady, but they don't give you time to collapse. The group moves quickly, their torches flaring against walls blackened by centuries of soot. Every step sends echoes racing into unseen corridors. You notice something, the castle breathes here, too. The air seems to pulse, faint but alive, as though the stones themselves are watching. The woman who gave you the flask walks closest. She leans near, whispering so the others can't hear. It wasn't supposed to reach you. The chamber was meant to contain it. If it touched you, she glances at your chest, where the phantom's hand pressed, then you are marked. Her words send a chill sharper than the phantom's grip. Marked. The thought coils inside your mind, heavy as a curse. The group leads you into a wider hall, its roof soaring into shadow. Banners hang in tatters, their symbols unrecognizable, worn down to little more than blood-colored smears. In the center of the room stands a table of stone, carved with spirals and lines that hum faintly under the torchlight. The older man gestures, and they guide you onto the edge of it. He studies you as though weighing your soul. Tell me exactly what it said, he demands. Your throat works, dry as salt. The memory claws forward, unwelcome yet undeniable. The words come out rough, but clear enough. You freed me, but I am not the last. The man stiffens, his scarred face tightening with something that looks uncomfortably close to fear. Around you, the others murmur, their voices sharp and urgent. The torches gutter. A cold gust slices through the hall, carrying the faint sound of chains dragging across stone. And you realize, what you faced in that chamber was only a single hunger, a single shadow. The castle is full of them. The older man finally speaks, his tone grim. Then we are already too late. The air in the hall stills, as if every stone has leaned closer to listen. The torches sputter, shadows stretching long across the walls. You sit rigid on the stone table, the older man's words, too late, ringing in your skull like the toll of a funeral bell. No one moves at first. The group stands in a loose circle, their faces caught between fear and calculation. Then the woman at your side grips your arm firmly, pulling you upright. The older man raises a hand, silencing the mutters of the others. He strides to the center of the hall, boots scraping against stone, and lays his palm against one of the spiral carvings etched deep into the table. The lines flare faintly, a glow like embers struggling to live. This place was built to bind them, he says. But the wards rot, the anchors weaken. Each chamber holds a prisoner, or what used to be one. You open the first. The words settle in your stomach like lead. The memory of the phantom's touch burns fresh on your skin, though you see no mark when you glance down. You want to deny it, to insist you were dragged there by chance, but deep inside, you know the thing wasn't random. It wanted you. The woman leans close again, her voice hushed and urgent. Did it leave something with you? A word? A feeling? Anything at all? You hesitate, then nod slowly. It said, it wasn't the last. The group stiffens as one. Someone curses under their breath. Another makes a warding sign with trembling fingers. The older man doesn't flinch, but his jaw tightens. Then the rest are stirring. The binding is unraveling faster than we feared. He turns his gaze to you, sharp and unrelenting. You are touched now. That means the others will sense you. They will follow your breath, your heartbeat, until you stand in front of their cages. A chill seeps into your bones, colder than any wind. You imagine chamber after chamber beneath the castle, each with its own whispering prisoner, each waiting for release. Above, something groans, a beam shifting under weight too heavy to name. Dust drifts down in lazy spirals. The hall seems to exhale. One of the younger men in the group loses his nerve. We should leave, seal the doors, let the place swallow itself. The older man rounds on him, voice low and hard. Leave, and they will spread. These walls hold them still, for now. Outside, they will bleed into the world. The eyes hover in the dark like twin embers of frost, not flames but something colder, something that doesn't need light to burn its way into your chest. The dragging sound grows louder, each metallic scrape drawing closer, pulling silence tighter around the group. The young man who spoke of fleeing stumbles back. His heel catches on loose stone, and he crashes to the floor. The noise echoes, too loud, too sharp. The eyes shift toward him, and in that instant, the darkness seems to lean forward, listening. No, the older man snaps, rushing to the table. His palm slams against the carved spiral again. This time the glow surges brighter, filling the cracks with crimson light. The stone vibrates underfoot. The woman doesn't release your arm. She drags you behind her, toward the curve of the wall where shadow and torchlight struggle for dominance. Stay near me, she hisses, though her voice trembles. If it sees you clearly. She doesn't finish. From the doorway, the shape emerges. Not all at once, but in fragments, first a hand pale as bone, long fingers curled and dragging a length of rusted chain. Then the curve of a shoulder, bent beneath invisible weight. The rest comes slow, deliberate, like the castle itself is reluctant to release it. It wears no face. Where features should be is smooth flesh, a blankness broken only by those frozen eyes, shining like cracks in ice. The group parts, instinctively giving it space, as though their bodies remember rules their minds have forgotten. The chains clink and scrape, dragging lines in the stone. The older man chants under his breath, words that snag in your ears, wrong but steady. The spirals on the table pulse in answer, and for a heartbeat, the creature hesitates. You can feel it, like pressure building in the air, pushing against your ribs. It isn't just looking. It's feeling for you. And then it finds you. The eyes tilt, locking onto your chest. Your breath jerks short. It steps forward. The woman shoves you back, stepping between you and it, her hand raised, fingers bent in a warding symbol. The creature pauses, head cocking as though listening. The older man's voice rises, louder, the crimson glow spreading across the carvings until the whole table looks molten. Hold it there, he cries, sweat breaking across his brow. Do not let it cross the spiral. But the chains rattle once, sharply, and the glow falters. Dust rains from the ceiling. The stone under your boots shivers, as though the castle is breathing too fast, too shallow. The faceless thing steps closer, chains dragging in rhythm with its stride. The glow on the table dims further. Someone in the group breaks. They scream, spinning for the far wall. Their footsteps echo, panicked, fleeing into the hall's shadows. The faceless head turns toward the sound. The scream cuts off. Not fades. Cuts. And then, silence again. The silence left behind is unbearable. It presses on the ears like a weight, every breath too loud, every heartbeat a drum. The faceless creature stands still, its pale head tilted, as though savoring the absence of sound. The chains drag once more, softer now, a rhythm that seems almost deliberate. Each scrape against stone feels like a word unspoken, a language too old for your tongue. The older man slams both palms against the carved table. The spirals blaze brighter, crimson veins crawling out along the cracks in the stone floor, reaching toward the doorway. His voice rises, strained and urgent, chanting in that jagged rhythm that makes your teeth ache. The creature jerks back slightly, halted mid-stride. The chains rattle against its wrists, thrashing as though resisting invisible hooks pulling it down. Keep it bound, the woman shouts, her voice raw. Don't let it slip through. You can see the older man's arms trembling under the strain. The glow pulses erratically now, each flicker dimmer than the last. He won't hold it for long. The faceless thing turns its gaze back to you. Those frozen eyes fix on yours, and the world narrows to nothing but their pale, endless void. A rush of whispers floods your skull, not voices, but memories not your own. You see a dark chamber, centuries old, men in ragged robes chaining something to stone. A scream without a mouth. Blood soaking the spiral carvings fresh into the floor. And a promise, made in silence but carved deep, if I wait, I will be free. You stumble back, gasping, the vision tearing loose. The woman steadies you, gripping your shoulders. What did it show you? She demands, her face pale with fear. Before you can answer, the older man cries out. The crimson light flickers violently, the spirals shattering with cracks. The chains of the creature surge forward, snapping against the invisible barrier. Dust pours from the ceiling, the walls groaning. It takes one step into the hall. The air grows colder instantly, your breath fogging. Torches hiss and sputter, flames shrinking back as though in terror. The group huddles tighter, their courage breaking. The woman draws you behind her, but her eyes never leave the faceless shape. We can't fight it here, she whispers. The bindings are gone. We need the lower chamber, the heart of the castle. It's the only place left. The older man staggers, blood dripping from his nose, but he nods weakly. The anchor, below, before it's too late. The creature tilts its head again, those eyes locked on you with terrible patience, as though it already knows you'll come to it. The woman grips your hand and pulls you toward a stairwell hidden in the far corner of the hall. The group follows in uneven steps, every glance backward haunted by the dragging sound of chains behind you. The stair spirals down, stone slick beneath your boots, the air colder with each turn. The deeper you descend, the more the walls seem to close in, carved with spirals older and darker than the ones above. The stairwell shudders with every crash above, the stone steps trembling underfoot. Dust rains from cracks in the ceiling as the group hurtles downward. Breath comes ragged and fast, boots slapping against damp rock. The air grows heavier with each turn, not just cold but thick, clinging to your lungs like wet cloth. Someone in the group falters. A man grips the wall, gasping. I can't. The woman doesn't slow, doesn't even look back. Leave him or we all die. But you glance over your shoulder and see his eyes, wild, pleading, before the stairwell door bursts apart above. A roar of splintered wood, and the dragging of chains begins again, spilling down the spiral behind you. The man screams once before being yanked upward, his voice cutting off as suddenly as the last. The sound echoes, then silence, except for the chains. Always the chains. The woman squeezes your hand tighter, pulling you faster. Don't look back, she warns. You descend further. The walls here are different, no longer raw stone but carved with spirals so deep they seem bottomless, winding endlessly around themselves. Some glow faintly, like embers buried under ash. Others drip with a black moisture that smells of rust and earth. The older man staggers but keeps moving, muttering the same broken chant. His voice cracks, but the words cling to the air like hooks. Almost there, he wheezes. Almost the heart. The stair finally opens into a vast chamber. Your breath catches at the sight. The ceiling is lost in darkness, but the walls blaze with spirals, thousands of them, each one cut so deep it looks like a wound in the stone. The floor is dominated by a vast pit, perfectly circular, with chains stretching across it like the spokes of a wheel. At the center of the pit rises a pillar of jagged rock, and around it coils something enormous, something bound in layer after layer of rusted metal. Even chained, it shifts. You see movement like a body trying to breathe, straining against its prison. The air here tastes metallic, sharp, as if every breath slices your tongue. The woman pulls you to the edge of the pit. This is the anchor, she says, her voice trembling. The heart of the binding. Whatever they locked here, it touches everything above. The older man falls to his knees, pressing both hands to the stone. His chant rises, echoing through the chamber, and the spirals flare in response. The chains around the central pillar rattle, tightening. But above, the stairwell shakes violently. The faceless creature has reached the threshold. Its chains clatter like bells of doom, dragging down toward you. The woman turns to you, her face pale, her grip fierce. You feel it, don't you? The pull in your blood. This was never about us. The anchor was carved for you. Only your touch can seal it, or break it. The dragging chains echo down the stairwell like a death march. Each impact against stone makes the chamber tremble, dust cascading from the black ceiling above. The group gathers at the edge of the pit, their faces pale, their breaths clouding in the freezing air. The older man presses his hands harder into the spirals, blood dripping from his nose, his eyes rolled nearly white. His chant reverberates through the chamber, not just a sound but a vibration in the bones, shaking your ribs from the inside out. The vast chains coiled around the central pillar shudder in response, tightening, grinding against one another with a metallic wail. But the thing bound there, whatever it is, stirs. You feel it, like a heartbeat under your feet, slow and immense. The woman pulls you closer, her grip almost bruising now. Her voice is a ragged whisper, but every word lands sharp. You felt it, haven't you? Since the first chamber. The whispers, the visions. It isn't chance, it's blood. You were meant for this. That thing. The group recoils, some pressing themselves flat against the walls, others clutching makeshift weapons though none dare raise them. The creature doesn't look at them. Only you. Always you. The woman shakes you, forcing your gaze away from those pale eyes. Listen to me. If you seal the anchor, the thing in the pit stays bound forever. But it will take you with it. Your blood. Your soul. You won't walk out of here. Her grip trembles. Her voice breaks. If you break it instead, the faceless one will fall. The others will too. But what's bound here? She glances at the pit, and her face twists with dread. It will rise. And nothing will hold it again. The older man screams, his chant turning shrill. The spirals across the floor flare one last time before flickering like dying embers. His body convulses, then slumps, the chant severed. The glow sputters out, leaving the chamber in a suffocating half-dark. The faceless creature steps forward, dragging its chains across the threshold. The sound rips through your skull like claws on bone. The others back away, panic breaking. The woman clutches your face, forcing your eyes to hers. You have to decide. Seal it, and die with it. Break it, and live, but unleash something worse than you can imagine. The chamber shakes. The pillar in the pit groans. The faceless creature raises its head, chains lifting like weapons. Its eyes bore into you, hungry, patient, certain. The world narrows to two spirals on the stone before you, one glowing faintly crimson, pulsing with the rhythm of your heart. The other black, yawning open like a wound that wants to spread. Your hand hovers between them. The chamber waits. The creature waits. The bound thing in the pit waits. And your choice will decide which horror rules the world above. The chamber quakes as though the whole castle is caught between two heartbeats. Dust falls in choking clouds, chains grind against stone, and the spirals beneath your hand pulse in rhythm with your chest. The faceless creature advances, dragging its chains like blades. Its pale eyes fix on you alone, ignoring the screams of the others. Behind you, the pillar in the pit heaves once, as though something vast beneath the earth has taken a breath. The woman clutches your arm. Her voice is hoarse but fierce. This is it. Seal it, or break it. Whatever happens, it ends now. Your hand trembles above the spirals. The crimson glow thrums, warm, alive, pulling you down. The black spiral yawns wide, promising release, power, ruin. The faceless thing raises its chains. The chamber shakes. The group scatters in panic. The woman crawls to the center, tears cutting clean tracks down her ash-streaked face. She presses her palm to the spiral where you stood, but finds only cold stone. You are gone. Above, the castle stills. The whispers die. The night is silent for the first time in centuries. And though the others stagger out into the dawn, broken but alive, the woman lingers at the pit. Her voice trembles as she whispers into the dark. You saved us. But at what cost? The chamber gives no answer. Only the endless, glowing spiral remains, your final heartbeat, burned into stone forever.